All right, guys. Well, got a unique one for you today. I'm sharing with you my top 3 neighborhoods that are dog friendly. So obviously, Colorado is a great state for pets. A lot of dog lovers here in Denver, Colorado. But I'm going to share with you 3 of my favorite neighborhoods where I love to take Charlie out and about and really can appreciate all that Denver has to offer. So stay tuned. All right, so let's jump right into it. My first of my 3 neighborhoods that I think is one of the best areas in all of Denver for dogs, just for a dog-friendly community, is Highlands. So this is an area that I used to live close to at Sloan's Lake. Highlands is just west of downtown Denver. It's in Denver County, and there are a few reasons why I picked this, again, as one of my 3 top neighborhoods to own a dog and just for a dog-friendly community. So a couple things about Highlands. For one, you're close to a ton of parks, a lot of parks that are very heavily populated by dog owners. So one of those, again, is Sloan's Lake, which is about 1.5 miles, easy walk from Highlands over to Sloan's. And Sloan's Lake is takes usually about 45 minutes to an hour to walk around it once. It's about 2.5 miles all the way around the lake. And if you go in an afternoon on a Saturday or Sunday, or after work on a weekday, you're going to see a ton of dog owners really taking advantage of this park. I would say there's easily a couple hundred at any given time all around the park walking around. Very friendly, social type environment. Everybody definitely has their dog on leash at this park, but it is definitely just a really cool area if you're a dog owner. So for me, when I moved back down to Denver from the mountains, this is where I first moved, and I just liked it because it's an area where it's very social. So, when you're walking your dog, you're saying hello to other people. It's a nice conversation starter. Everybody just has that connection with each other. I would say out of all the people that you see on a visit to Sloan's, I bet 2/3 of them are there with their dogs. So that's one of the parks that's, I think, one of the reasons why Highlands is so nice. Another park that's close to Highlands is called Confluence Park. So Confluence Park is really, really cool. It's right behind REI. If you guys don't know what REI is, it's an incredible outdoor apparel and outdoor equipment store. Their flagship in the entire country is located right here in Denver, Colorado. It actually used to be an old train museum called the Forney Museum. When I was a kid growing up in Denver, we'd go to the Forney Museum, check out these really cool old different types of train cars, cabooses, all that fun stuff. So I don't know how long ago, probably 25 years ago, REI actually purchased this existing building, the big warehouse, and inside is awesome. There's a climbing wall. They actually have their own little river at REI where you can test out rafting equipment. It is one of the coolest stores I've ever been to, and Confluence Park is directly behind it. Confluence, as the name suggests, there's a couple different rivers that feed into the Platte River, and at that point, you're going to have these really cool little beach areas. And again, on a weekend in the summertime, you take your dog down to this park, and there are just people having a blast, laying out on the beach areas, getting their sunshine. Dogs are off leash, running in the river, catching balls, coming back, across the little current that exists right there. There's lots of people just hanging out with music playing and even playing instruments. It's just like a very eclectic mix of people, and a ton of dog owners here as well. So one last thing before I move on about this benefit of the parks near Highlands. With Confluence Park, you also have access to the Platte River, as I mentioned, and you can actually take from Highlands this Platte River Trail from Confluence Park and walk all the way down to the Broncos Stadium. And from there, you basically go to the other side of the river, you cross the bridge over to the other side, and then just walk back. And walking back, you border Elitch Gardens, which is our amusement park here in Denver. Also a really fun place just to walk next to because you're right up against the roller coasters, and you just have a very unique perspective of the amusement park as you're walking your dog along this really nice path. So with that path, you do have to be a little bit more cautious. There are also a lot of cyclists, and we do have a lot of the rentable Uber and Lyft little scooters that people take advantage of. So for me, I like to listen to a lot of times music on my headphones when I'm walking my dog. So sometimes I have to be a little bit extra cautious on this specific trail because of people coming up from behind me pretty quickly, and they get a little upset if you have your dog on the leash and he's kind of taking over the side sidewalk. So just a little tip there. But first part about why I think Highlands is one of my 3 favorite dog-friendly neighborhoods is the proximity to the parks. And then on top of that, I also just want to quickly mention how Highlands has an incredible downtown. It's very small. It's just basically one street with a lot of locally owned shops on either side. And throughout, whenever you're walking around Highlands, you're always going to have a lot of local shops with dog bowls sitting out front. A lot of the business owners also have pets that'll just be leashed up or maybe not even on a leash, just kind of hanging out, in front of their businesses. And then every Saturday from, I believe it's Memorial Day all the way until Labor Day, they have a Saturday farmers market. And this is a great people watching, but also dog watching activity if you are a pet lover. I used to take my dog Charlie to this quite a bit, and you would see all types of very passionate dog owners, people that have their dogs in strollers, people that are dressing their dogs up. You imagine it, they probably have it going on there. But I think that's a testament to why Highlands really does embrace the dog-friendly community and why I put it as one of my 3 top neighborhoods in Denver to be a dog lover. So that's number 1, Highlands. All right, number 2 on my list is going to be a master plan community located in Littleton, Colorado, so a little bit south of Highlands, the first neighborhood that we talked about. It's about a 20 to 25-minute drive south of Highlands, and this is called Grant Ranch. I've had another video recently released about Grant Ranch, and spoiler alert, this is actually where I moved to from Highlands, Sloan's Lake area. So I know I'm not being super creative having 2 of the 3 neighborhoods being places I've lived, but the reason I'm doing that is because I truly do feel like they are both incredible dog-friendly neighborhoods. So the reason I put Grant Ranch as my second top neighborhood for owning a dog is because it's a master plan community. So a master plan community, what is that? Basically, it's just, as the name suggests, they've planned out the entire development of the community ahead of time. And what that allows a neighborhood to have when that's done correctly and with good intention is you have all sorts of really cool parks, sidewalks, just a lot of areas that are public amongst the different smaller neighborhoods of homes within Grant Ranch. So, from my home, I can just take, a 2-minute walk from my front door and I can get into these really nice private concrete, really well-maintained trails that take me all throughout the entire Grant Ranch community. I've heard that there's about 2.5 miles of these throughout the entire Grant Ranch community. And a lot of these paths just kind of intertwine among the different neighborhoods. A lot of the homes in here are really nice, very luxurious homes. So it's a lot of fun for me just walking and just kind of admiring how different people have landscaped and the architecture for some of these different homes. But then also scattered among the different neighborhoods of homes, there's a lot of really, really well-maintained parks. So baseball fields, large soccer fields, playgrounds, all that kind of stuff is plentiful in Grant Ranch. And the coolest thing about it, which I cannot get over, is how few people take advantage of it. One of the nicest parks in all of Grant Ranch is just right next to my house. I'll go out and take my dog Charlie in the evenings for a walk. We go on about an hour-long walk almost every evening. And a big part of that is purposely going to this park. We'll walk around it a couple times. And literally sometimes there's not a single other person out there. I mean, I'm talking a full football length field of perfectly manicured green grass cut probably twice a week. I mean, the nice clean lines along the grass. Everything looks just like it's a professional soccer field. Sometimes it's that, I know I sound like I'm exaggerating, but it really is that nice. And without having anybody out there, I'll always take Charlie off the leash there and just let him kind of run around and just really enjoy being in this environment where you can kind of let loose and run and not worry about him, getting chased by other dogs or going and trying to lick and chase some other people. So the parks that I think are located within Grant Ranch are especially one of the perks and why it's such a great dog-friendly neighborhood. And then in addition to that, where Grant Ranch is located, again, it's in Littleton, Colorado. With Littleton, you have some really, really developed retail spaces all around. So we're right on the border of Wadsworth Boulevard. There used to be a mall that kind of went out of business because malls are, kind of a dying thing nowadays, but they've redeveloped a lot of that area around there, including the mall actually, and just put in a lot more, just different types of retail centers. So you have your all kinds of options when it comes to being a dog owner. You've got your bigger box stores like PetSmart, Petco, but you also have a lot of really cool boutique shops. You've got a really nice new place that I actually just found a couple days ago called Wagon Wash. It's a self-serve dog washing place, or they also have grooming done there. So I'll let you guys know in the next video or two how that goes. Hopefully all goes good there. But you just have all these amenities with being close to all these shopping centers and stuff that, when I lived in Highlands and Sloan's Lake, again, what we were talking about earlier, those areas just don't have that same level of convenience. And I think that as a dog owner, and if you're a family and you have maybe a couple dogs or a cat or just more stuff going on in your life, and maybe it's also just me getting a little bit older, but you really start to appreciate having a lot of this shopping and just the amenities of being in an area that has this, close to where you live. Is the reason why I feel that Great Ranch is another great dog-friendly neighborhood. And then the last thing about Great Ranch that I really like, again, since it's in Littleton, you're really close to downtown Littleton. And downtown Littleton, if you've never been there, Old Town Littleton, downtown Littleton, it's a very eclectic, cool, probably about two streets, maybe 5 or 6 blocks at the most total, but it's full of a lot of locally owned businesses, some great restaurants, and you just have that same feel as you do at Highlands, where people will have their dog bowls out front. Dogs will just be kind of hanging out in front of the stores. A lot of the restaurants really embrace it in downtown Littleton and actually have outdoor patios where you'll see people with their dog on a leash just kind of hanging out beneath their table. Just, again, really proactively embracing dog owners and just allowing people to bring their furry friends with them as they enjoy downtown Littleton. So, that's something that I've dabbled in a little bit. I'm still a little bit paranoid sometimes with bringing my dog to places like that. Sometimes he doesn't behave as well as he could, so it just makes it more of an inconvenience for me, selfishly. But I think that, if you have a dog that's fairly well behaved, this is a nice perk to have that you don't really have in a lot of other places. Not sure where you guys are watching this video from, but I know a lot of other states aren't nearly as, willing to embrace this type of owning your dogs and taking them with you everywhere. So that'd be another reason why I think Littleton and Great Ranch is such a great neighborhood for dogs. I will mention Great Ranch is very unique, where it's on the border of Denver County and also Littleton. And basically right along that border, which is right through Great Ranch, you are going to potentially run into a few differences when it comes to breed restrictions. Denver has been in the press a lot, and it's a very heated topic in Denver right now, Denver County. They've got some breed restrictions, such as on pit bulls. So, there's just some of that going on in Denver, as I imagine almost anywhere else in the country. But just be aware of that. If you have certain breeds that potentially are higher, not risk, but they have, concerns with other restrictions and stuff like that, I would just recommend, if you're considering moving to a county in Denver, just look into that a little bit. Make sure you're good to go before signing on the dotted line and potentially moving into a place where they might not be allowed. So make sure you guys check that out. So again, number 2, Great Ranch. All right, number 3, third and final, one of the best dog-friendly neighborhoods in all of Denver, Golden, Colorado. So Golden is a little bit different than both Highlands and also Great Ranch. Golden is on the far west side of Denver, right against the mountains. You're going to be about as close as you possibly can get to getting up to the ski country. And the reason I added Golden as one of my top 3 are for a couple reasons. First and foremost, just its location. So if you are an active person, you like hiking, just getting out into nature, Golden has something very unique that a lot of other neighborhoods in Denver doesn't, and that's just the ability to get to places that are a lot less trafficked. So when I mentioned, for example, at Highlands and that Sloan's Lake Park that a lot of people take their dogs at, I mentioned how you might see a couple hundred people with their dogs out if you go on a weekend afternoon. With Golden, you have the ability to go to different places that are much, much less touristed or trafficked, and you're not going to have nearly as many people, and that allows you a lot of times also to put your dog in a place where they can be off leash potentially. So with Golden, you've got these flat top mountains right above Coors Brewery, and Table Mountain is an example of one. And those are some places that a lot of people, I think there are still some signs saying keep your dog on leash at all times, but these are some places that as long as you get out into certain areas where you don't see anybody else around, you can take your dog off leash and really enjoy that. So if you have a bigger dog or dog that pulls a little bit more on the leash and you just want to have that break from that, I think Golden is a great neighborhood because of, again, the accessibility to lesser trafficked areas and parks and trail systems. You're also very close to a back way to go up to the foothills and up to the ski country, and that's actually the road that'll take you up to Central City and Blackhawk. If you go up that road, there's also some other very private trails that very few people go up and take advantage of. Well, you'll see a lot of river rafting and a lot of kayaking up this canyon, but you're not going to see that many hikers relative to other parts of the state. So this is another place that's within a 15 to 30 minute drive from Golden, and you're really out there. If it's a hot summer day, it's also a little bit higher altitude, so you get a little bit nicer, cooler weather and a great spot to go. Regarding Table Mountain and some of the hiking and just trails that are immediately accessible in Golden, one thing I have to make sure you guys are aware of and just keep an eye on is there are a lot of rattlesnakes, and that's something that I don't like. I'm not a fan of snakes particularly, and I've actually had one of my best friends growing up. His dad got bit by a baby rattlesnake and got hurt pretty bad. He ended up being fine, but there are quite a few snakes as you get up into the Table Mountain portion of Golden and start hiking into that area. So just be aware of that. Nothing to be super concerned about, but just something to keep in mind for both yourself and for your dog. And then one final thing to share about Golden that I think is super, super cool. Golden, similar to, again, Highlands, they have, farmers markets and different community type stuff going on throughout the year. But one really cool thing about Golden is they have every summer, it's called the Goldens in Golden. And it's basically a congregation of golden retrievers and their owners. And there's probably 200 to 300 golden retrievers that meet on this one day in the summer. I think it's on a Saturday. And you'll just, literally see hundreds of golden retrievers. They block off the roads. So it's, walking only, pedestrian only, and there's no cars for the day, and just everybody's out there with their golden retrievers. So golden retrievers are, without a doubt, one of the friendliest, just most loving dogs out there to begin with. So if you can imagine having that many in the same place at the same time, pretty cool event to at least witness once. So totally unrelated to pets, but Golden also has an incredible cruise night every Friday night in the summertime. Again, probably anywhere between 100 and 200 classic car owners bring their cars down and park them in all the different lots around Golden, and also just do a cruise night where there's a big kind of a continuous parade of classic cars going on for a couple hours. My family and my parents used to live in downtown Golden, and we would, go out and even take our dogs out and just hang out and watch this Golden cruise night occasionally. So Golden's got tons of parks, really nice locations for, going and grabbing lunch outside, grabbing a picnic table, or just going and sitting down by the river with your pets, with your dog, and just having lunch, or going to one of these really cool microbreweries. Coors Brewery, again, is right there. So there's a lot of just outdoor options when it comes to social life in Golden. And because it's such a dog-friendly community, almost all of these places are very proactive on allowing you to bring your dog inside with you to the bar, to the outdoor little food truck areas. Just very, again, dog-friendly. So Golden, without a doubt, is also in that top 3 for dog-friendly neighborhoods within Denver. So again, guys, top 3: Highlands, Grant Ranch, Master Plan Community, and Golden, Colorado. All 3 of these are a little bit different from one another. So if any of these 3 really spiked your interest for one reason or another, feel free to reach out to me. My number, my phone number, my email, all that stuff's down below. I can always share other neighborhoods in Denver that have similar qualities to what you're looking for. So we'd love to help you guys find, if you are a dog owner, where you think would be a best part of town to consider moving here to Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. And if you happen to not be a dog owner, maybe you're a cat owner, maybe you have a pet lizard or something else, there's stuff out there for everybody. So we'd be happy to, talk through some of that with you guys too. But for now, we'll leave it with that. Look forward to seeing you guys next week on another episode of Living in Denver. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon.